was thinking today, I'm like, oh my God, I wouldn't do the first freaking I wouldn't. What was that? I heard Kelly.
Yeah, when I want to, I can set my mind there. I know, and then it's like 4 hours. And so I rated it down.
I haven't even looked at what everybody's submitted. I hope we have everybody's. I guess we're going tomorrow. Results of it. It's warm in here, isn't it?
Good evening. In accordance with Section 5 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, PL 1975, notice of this meeting was posted on the bulletin board designed for that purpose, and notice was transmitted to the official newspapers provided by resolution adopted January 7th, 2023. Meeting notice has also been continuously posted on our website. May I have a roll call?
Yes, Mayor. Council President Morgan.
Here.
Councilwoman Phillips.
Here.
Councilman Addison.
Here.
Councilwoman Russo.
Here.
Councilman Pagan.
Here.
Councilwoman Harron.
Here.
And Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. We'll now have public comment on agenda items only. That's public comment on agenda items only. If you'd like to make a comment on anything on the agenda, please step up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. All right, not seeing any public comment. We will close the public comment portion and move into the caucus work session. And first up is RFPs for 2024 professional services.
Yes, I was just reminding that all of the RFPs for professional services for 2024 are due tomorrow by 10 a.m. We will open them tomorrow and summarize with a spreadsheet and circulate that to mayor and council. And that's all.
The solicitor RFP was
I see it.
correct?
Yeah.
I get confirmation?
Yep, on time.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Council, anything on that? All right. Next, discussion of sewer use charges. Steve?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mayor. We have submitted and circulated a final copy of the executive summary for the sanitary sewer asset management plan. By way of background, the asset management plan was performed by the borough through my office under a grant under the NJPPP. It was done to the standards of the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection and the New Jersey Infrastructure Bank, or NJIB, for a small system asset management plan. And I'm not going to belabor this because you have the written report. I discussed it at previous meetings. But 5 general things are done under this type of asset management plan analysis. Asset inventory, we have to find out what we have in terms of sanitary sewer. We have to find out what our level of service and what the critical components are of the system are. life cycle costing and a long-term capital funding strategy to be able to maintain and operate the system going forward. Generally, so not everybody knows this, but the borough of Haddon Heights has 3 sanitary sewer pump stations, a collection system of approximately 115,000 linear feet of gravity sewer, 6,600 linear feet of sanitary sewer force main, and 414 sanitary sewer structures or manholes. Nobody sees it, it's underground, out of sight, out of mind. Unless something's broken, we really don't pay attention to it. But what has been revealed and what we already knew just by way of experience is the age of the system, and that the system really needs some significant rehabilitation so it can be maintained and can continue to serve the borough residents into the future. What we have there is a heat map. It generally indicates when the structures in Haddon Heights were built, the darker colors are the older structures, which go back to the very early 1900s. And our earliest sanitary sewer system was constructed in 1911. It was expanded in 1923, 1929, and then over the subsequent decades, and it really expanded out from the darker center of town, which is in essence Station Avenue at the Atlantic, Whitehorse Pike, and all around the park. And then we proceeded out towards the east side of town, towards Haddonfield, and then it slowly progressed in the letter colors in the 50s, 60s. And there's even one section, which is River Mill, that was done as late as 2017. In essence, in summary, and these maps are on the text. These maps are contained in the report. But in general, a good majority of our system is 95 years. So approximately 52% of our system is on average 95 years old. 45% is approximately 7 years old on average. And the remaining small percentage is that newer development, which is middle development, which is 3 years. The reason these age is important because we can calculate the useful life of components based on industry data in terms of pumps, sanitary sewer gravity, especially terracotta, force mains made out of cast iron, and that's all contained in our analysis. When we take that in terms of 95 years, we're in essence at our useful life for our sanitary sewer system, especially made out of terracotta. We've been very fortunate in the borough that we've not experienced more emergency repairs. I believe the latest one that we had was somewhat about 5 years ago, and it cost over $100,000. So an emergency repair of something that could cost as little as $3,000 for preventive maintenance could turn into $100,000 because of the emergency nature, bypass pumping and all that. So you have to keep that in the back of your mind. Your preventive dollars will save money in the long run. Plus, it's a sanitary sewer. So when we have an emergency, we have people that are losing sanitary sewer service. And most of the times when we have an emergency, we have a sanitary sewer release or spill, which is obviously not what anybody wants in our borough. But we did list in our report prioritization, and these are all following the guidelines, where we have Maple Avenue Pump Station. Maple Avenue Pump Station is an older station that has not really been rehabilitated at all since its construction. It has been maintained to the best of the ability of the Department of Public Works over the years, but it's an old-fashioned station, antiquated technology, antiquated pumping, and actually the components are even getting harder and harder to find, especially since the last few years where a lot of manufacturers have not been manufacturing older legacy equipment. So we're going to find it that we're probably not going to be able to get parts for these pumps in the near future. Where we listed that out, Lake Street Pump Station, the borough went through and did the rehabilitation of Lake Street Pump Station, as you well know. that you're actually doing some standby pumping equipment. So that's one of the items that was raised originally in our report. So that's consistent. We do have approximately 68 sanitary sewer manholes that are in poor or failed condition that should be done sooner or later. Some of these you probably see in some of the roadways, evidenced by some of the manhole rims that are uneven. Well, when you see the uneven rim, what we don't really see is in the ground going anywhere from 10 to 15 feet is actual manhole that is in a deteriorated condition that would need to be addressed. And then I did report on Kings Highway CCNE Way direct connection. So we were able to, in I believe it was 2015, we were fortunate enough to have the CCNE Way allow for an additional direct connection. And the old pump station that's right next to the old window factory, right by the county park, we were able to decommission that entirely and get rid of that entire system, very similar to what Maple Avenue is, and directly connect by gravity and eliminate an entire pump station instead of having to rebuild it. That was really the only opportunity we had to do something like that. So we list in our report 4, 5, 6 that we're really suggesting you start with pump stations, order the pump stations in terms of what needs to be addressed. Then we indicate that we should go on to Hillside Avenue inverted siphon. Not to belabor this, but right along the county park, pretty much from the Dell all the way to Kings Highway, we have what we call an inverted siphon, which is actually a sagged pipe, the old garden hose concept. You put water on one side, eventually it'll come out under the sag and come out the other side. We don't have any inspection manholes. We have no way to really maintain that. Again, very fortunate that we have not had too much difficulty. Public Works goes out there on a regular basis and tries to keep it clear, but proper maintenance would be able to do that on a more regular basis with better inspection points. And then, of course, we talked about the actual sanitary sewer lines. The majority, if not all of our sanitary sewer lines, gravity, are terracotta. So think about a clay flower pot. That's the same material that our sewer pipes are made out of. They are very, very susceptible to cracking and failure when they're disturbed. Most of the disruption on those type of pipes come from other utilities that are working in the area, the gas lines, the water lines, especially ones that use like molding technology to drill instead of direct drill their new service lines. The useful life of terracotta pipe is 100 years. You can see we're right at that for the majority of our system. So we have to start planning ahead, and that's really what the asset management plan asks you to do. Are you planning ahead, and how are you going to get through and be able to maintain your system for another 100 years? They don't ask you to initially plan and fund for 100 years more of service, but you really have to hit the critical ones that are absolutely in need. And we outlined those: Maple Avenue Pump Station, those 68 manholes, and a few other items like the inspection ports on the inverted siphon. But also you have to look and see how you're going to do a renewal replacement over a certain period of time. So you're not looking at emergency repairs once every 5 years like we've been experiencing. If we don't address it, eventually you're going to be looking at them once every year, then once every couple of months, and then it's going to be a significant emergency cost and unanticipated budget impact. So what we have also done, just is what is required under the program, is make suggestions on terms of how are you going to accomplish a renewal replacement. We did an analysis of surrounding 5 municipalities in terms of how they are doing it. They are doing it by a sewer service fee. The Borough of Haddon Heights does not have a sewer service fee. We outlined in our report what their current sewer service fees are for your consideration. And of course, the rest we leave to governing bodies. The governing bodies deliberation and determination of what will be the course of action for being able to fund a renewal replacement of the sanitary sewer system. So with that, that is the conclusion of a very long process of an asset management plan. You saw it in my engineer's report over and over and over again. I'll take it off for next month until someone wants it to come back on. But this is the summary. A lot of information here, a lot of numbers. If there's any questions or anything else I can expand on, I will.
Steve, what's the total, so I'm following, what's the roughly the total liability, let's say, for our sewer system? So I'm seeing critical stuff right out of the gate, it's about 1 million.
Yep.
1 million, then I see 500,000 for additional critical, and then the 10 million for most, what appears to be most of our lines, so everything from terracotta to the 75-year-old cast iron, I guess that's cast iron.
So you're missing the last one. So,
And then, yep,
so you have approximately 1 million for the pump stations, Maple Avenue Pump Station, the remaining portion of Lake Street, the 68 cemetery sewer manholes, and the Kings Highway. Direct connect where we still have to do a flow meter, that's why it's still included in there, which was a requirement under our CCNUA agreement, was not previously funded, it needs to be funded. Then in terms of the inverted siphons, and some rehabilitation to another one of our pump stations, Cedar Avenue, which is a much smaller pump station, but also that is aged. That is $511,000. Then we're looking at the terracotta system. That is approximately 95 years old, 52% of the system, and some of our force mains, which are, again, approaching useful life. That is approximately $10 million. And again, approaching useful life. So it's not at our useful life, but we have to include it in our report. It can be talked about. We were fortunate enough to get this very, very useful grant from the DEP, so we know what we have and we know what our problems are. Doesn't mean you have to fund all this now. This means you have to be aware of it and you have to make revisions to go forward in the future. But that is $10 million for that section. And then the older, the remaining portion, 70 plus years of the terracotta, where that does have a design life cycle of 100 years, that is $8.6 million. So, but we still have a good 30 years in theory on that. One thing I just want to add also, the direct connection that we're able to do to eliminate the Kings Highway pump station was conditioned upon a condition of our original CCNUA connection, meaning when the CCNUA was originally constructed in the early 80s, all the towns were required to do I&I reduction, inflow and infiltration, meaning groundwater getting into the pipes and also infiltration getting into the manholes and then going into the system. Rainwater, groundwater should not be going into your sanitary sewer system. It should not be going into the treatment system at the CCNUA, where all the wastewater is eventually taken to by the collection systems and then treated. The CCNUA, when we did the Kings Highway Direct Connect, reinforced that we should be doing I&I reduction. The slip lining, any slip lining that we do automatically goes towards that agreement that we have with the CCNUA to reduce I&I. So it's a little bit of a twofold, because I know in the back end of my report, we leave it in there, but there is an agreement with the CCNUA that eventually we have to do a significant I&I reduction.
Is it fair to say that the other improvements that you suggest in your report here would also contribute to that I&I reduction?
The slip lining would of gravity, because that's where we have most inflow and infiltration. So because we have terracotta pipes were not joined with rubber gaskets like plastic. Our today's sanitary sewer is made out of PVC, plastic, polyvinyl chloride. It has rubber joints, slip-on joints. It is very watertight, so it keeps the groundwater out. And also it's not susceptible to cracking like the terracotta. Terracotta was just clay pipe pushed against clay pipe and pushed against clay pipe. And if we're lucky, somebody put some concrete around some of the joints. And that's not always the case. So I&I on terracotta pipe, especially terracotta pipe that is 70, 95 years old, we're getting some significant I&I. We're not anywhere near our capacity in terms of our allocation as a borough. But it is reasonable that we should meet the agreement to the best we can that we originally made with the CCMUA, and that we re-up that agreement with the CCMUA when we eliminated Kings Highway to reduce I&I. One last thing I just want to add, not everybody knows this. So the sanitary sewer system that we have, and this is eventually very good for the public, I believe most of our council knows this, and our solicitor does. We have our own local collection system. We have our own sanitary sewer system, our own pump stations, but when it leaves our town, it goes into the Camden County Municipal Utilities Authority system. And it's done by a pump station right on the other side of the former Public Works Facility and Treatment Plant, right near Glover Mill off of Guy River. That is our responsibility. That's what we have to maintain for our borough residents. The other portion of the sanitary sewer that is not part of the borough responsibilities is the Camden County Municipal Utilities Authority. Everybody gets a bill from that. They own what is called the collection interceptor system, and ultimately the treatment plant that processes all the wastewater for a borough and also for Camden County. So when it leaves our system, it goes into the CCMUA's very significant pump station, and there's pump stations all around Camden County, and it goes into what was called an interceptor system, where it's either gravity or force main, and these size of these interceptors are not the 8-inch lines that we have in our borough, but these are 24, 36, or very large force mains. That takes all the wastewater to the Camden County Municipal Utilities Authority treatment plant in Camden, where they do all the wastewater processing. So the CCNUA bill that we all receive is not for our local collection system. It has nothing to do with our local collection system. That is for the interceptor system that collects all the wastewater from all the towns and takes it all the way to Camden, and in Camden City for the actual treatment of the wastewater at the CCNUA facilities before it's discharged to the Delaware. So I just want to make sure that we know our responsibilities versus what other people do, and in terms of fees.
Is it your experience with the other municipalities that you do work for, that those municipalities pay for upgrade and maintenance of their own municipal sewer systems through the implementation of the sewer fee, sewer use fee?
Non-implementation, they have.
They've had it, they've had it in place for
They
some time.
have. One of our municipalities, Jason Audubon, several years ago was in a similar position. They did not have a sewer service fee. They implemented a sewer service fee, and they were able to do some significant work on the sanitary services. It is very rare that a municipality does not have a sewer service fee, in my experience.
So we're
Especially in the county.
Steve, I'm looking at the fees now, and if I'm reading this correct. So there's two, Audubon, you have Barrington and Belmar listed,
Yes,
varying numbers, kind of spectrum. And then I'm looking, Hatfield and Mount Ephraim, we denote that they've sold to a New Jersey American Water Company. And those are significantly different. Mount Ephraim being the most recent, I think Mount Ephraim just sold in the last, what,
Correct.
2 years?
correct. And Mount Ephraim is under a very specific step up, where they're limited to 3% increase in a year. So they're at the $109 a year. Haddonfield is at $474 a year for the equivalent single-family house at 300 gallons per day. That is past their limitation of their step up, so they're under the right New Jersey American water.
So they had a freeze, just like, so many comes all like a freeze right now, right? They're
Correct, they're on a limited increase schedule.
So when these towns, when they adopt, if they agree to go with New Jersey American Water, there's a few-year grace period where their increases are contained.
It was negotiated that way.
Right. But then after that, outside of that grace period, they're at the mercy of that New Jersey American Water.
There is on file with the borough, I believe, an analysis that was performed on New Jersey American, in terms of, their towers. It's right on New Jersey American Water's website. You can actually go and look at 2023 towers, the simple little lookup, and it'll show you everybody's sanitary sewer fee for the municipalities that they provide. The 472, 474 for Haddonfield is less, significantly less than some of the other municipalities that they serve, which is much, much higher. I'm not gonna say that, I'm not disparaging New Jersey
I gotta
American
imagine,
Water.
it probably has something to do with the fact that the age of the system, right? So the older your system is, the more work it's gonna need, the more they're not in the business of giving out free sewer systems.
Correct. They actually perform exactly what this report and analysis is saying that we should do as a borough. You must renew and replace your system in order to keep the system viable and operating effectively for the residents.
So, Steve, remember when we got this grant? And I think it was around the time I started that. I specifically remember Councilman Schreiber at the time being a proponent of doing this grant. How much was the grant for to do the study that we?
$100,000.
So we got $100,000 grant, not reimbursable, right? Free money.
Forgiven, and it's been confirmed that it's been forgiven. We went through the process.
Yeah, that wasn't a
Because there was-
grant that we had to do that, it was on a condition that we spend a certain dollar amount and improvements to our sewer system.
And that was my next question. So when I first came on, I remember that we were gonna do the study, but that we also had to commit to doing a certain amount of work, right?
Correct. It was.
And did we do that?
Yes, $250,000 of a participation in the NJIB, or the New Jersey IBAG infrastructure loan program. We have done that with the Lake Street pump station for the standby pumping system.
Steve, you've been here longer than I, but, and you do a lot of sewer work. I've probably got more experience in it, as you know, than any attorney in South Jersey, having done it for 40 years. That speaks more to age than experience. But prior to us taking this grant, and I gotta think that was around, I think it started 2015, 2016, if I'm not mistaken. Prior, or thereabouts.
I think it was 18.
What was it?
18.
Okay. Prior to us starting that in 18, were we putting a certain amount aside each year to maintain the system?
No, actually, it was, my experience, it was, if the problem developed, you would have to address it in that capital year, because you did not have a source, or at least a line item that would accommodate the capital item, so you would capitalize it. And I'll speak to when you replaced, meaning the borough replaced the Lake Street pump station.
So we were reacting as opposed to being proactive?
I would never say that again for, in terms of a governing body, only that it's my experience that the borough, only, would be perform those capital improvements when a failure occurred.
Steve, based
I don't
on.
want to say you do that, I want to say you
I
detail
hear
is
what
not
you're saying,
right.
Steve, but, you know, you hear what I'm saying too, because this group now has a fiduciary obligation to the people that are elected to make sure that when the toilet gets flushed, the system works. And I think what you're telling us here tonight is there's no guarantee going into the future, given the age of the system and the lack of maintenance prior to 2018, that that's going to happen, or the possibility of breakdowns in the system are more and more likely for every passing year. Fair to say?
I'm going to characterize it a little bit different.
Okay,
A little bit different. It's not so much the maintenance of the system. I believe all the versions of the Public Works Department have worked very hard to try to
Understand that.
maintain what we have. The trouble is what we have is aged. The pipes are aged and are the most susceptible material, terracotta, that we have for our sanitary sewer system. And then also our pump stations, which are the most susceptible, especially Maple Avenue. it is aged to the point where it is gonna be antiquated beyond repair in a reasonable fashion. So if we do not react and we do not plan, we are definitely gonna fail. And then when we fail, and that's why I brought up those emergency repair costs. When these failures occur, and if we have a failure at something like the Maple Avenue pump station in the middle of the night, look for six figures in terms of the bill immediately.
Stephen, you prioritize this based upon worst the best, right? Like Glover Mills is not gonna need it, it wouldn't get by 75 years there maybe, right? Brand new stuff, but there are some areas, which was the dark area of the town that you're talking about 75 to 90-year-old terracotta pipe.
Yes,
And Steve, would you say that a 75 to 95-year-old terracotta pipe is being held together by the ground around it,
yes.
not the pipe?
It is, if it is disturbed, so terracotta pipe, even just under normal operations, just with the regular subsidence of the soil, most terracotta pipe has longitudinal cracking at the joints. As long as it's not disturbed, it can probably stay in that shape with the soil around it for a prolonged period of time. The trouble is, there's constantly movement of things above ground. There's
I was just gonna say, aren't we?
there's water company, there's the gas company, there's anybody that has their any sort of excavation.
Us doing roads.
Yeah,
We're out there doing roads. I imagine if we're, a lot of our roads where there's recommendations to do full depth, and so forth. We got
the roads won't really have the same impact. What has the impact to our lines really is the age of our lines, trees. Trees are probably the number one impact on a terracotta line because trees grow, roots grow. Trees go all the way out to the center of the line, 15 feet deep in terms of roots, and they're getting into our sanitary sewer line. Trees are number one. Two are the utility companies. And they have the rights under their tariffs to be in our roadways. Are they the most gentle around our old terracotta pipes? Not always.
Steve, you represent a number of towns that deal with taking care of their own collection system, so to
Yes.
speak. That just means we're collecting it, we're just not treating it. But we're delivering it to the CCME way where they convey it to Camden and then they treat it. I think that's what you said, right?
Yes.
The other towns that you've been involved, well, let me ask you this. Do you know of any other town that does not have a sewer use charge?
Not at this point, no.
I don't know.
I'm not aware of
There's
that.
37
I'm not,
municipalities.
yeah, I'm not
There's
aware
three
of that.
things that surprised me when I came in here. I was fortunate enough to represent these kind folks. Was you can't park on the streets at night. I didn't know that. That was a surprise. The other is they love their trees more than anything I've ever seen in my entire life, and that is a wonderful thing. And they didn't have a sewer use charge. Like I asked that, and no, we don't have one. I said, well, how do you maintain your system? And the answer is you can't.
Well,
And you were with me in the GTME way when they ignored that system for years.
and they
And they
finally
finally,
did
right?
exactly the right thing.
20 years
There were no
ago,
replacements.
2001, when I started representing them instead of emergencies, they planned, right?
And that system is in one of the better shapes of any.
I agree with you.
But it's in better shape than almost all the other.
Because they
municipal
planned.
systems, because they planned and they implemented over 20 years.
They did.
Again, I can't speak for like Tavistock
I
or,
agree.
because I don't know those, but I can tell you over all the municipalities that I represent, all the ones that I interact with as representing the municipalities in Camden County, they all have sewer connection and sewer services.
So, Steve, just to clarify, right now, for us to do any work on our sewers, it comes either out of capital, it's either a capital, we do it, right, or we could allocate money in our budget, and if we chose to. This sewer fee, that would be restricted primarily to the sewer, servicing the sewer, right? That's just like basically puts in motion and restricts, regardless of who's up here, a sewer fee when the revenue, I guess this is also a Howard, when that revenue comes in, that to be allocated specifically
Yes.
to repairing and restoring.
And that's the best practice.
Right.
That's always the best practice. A sewer fee, just like some municipalities still have their own water system, they have water service fees.
Correct.
It should go with what the fee is for.
Right.
So a sewer fee, if you were inclined to proceed that way, would do two things. One, it would give dedicated annual revenue source to your maintenance of your system in terms of make sure that you actually have the personnel to go out and maintain the system, clean the lines, inspect regularly the manholes, things like that. Also, then you could use that sewer service fee, whatever portion you wish, either to put in renewable replacement fund or to use that in combination with a capital expenditure. My experience usually has been that you're going to do a little bit of all three of those things. You're going to allocate some of your sewer service fee to maintenance and personnel in terms of what you need in order to maintain what you can to the best ability that you can. The better you maintain your system, the longer you're going to get out of what you have, because you're not going to be able to get all this done, over a few years. This is a multi-year process. I mean, probably a multi-decade process in the long run. But you should be able to absolutely fund your maintenance and the repairs that you can do in-house. You should also put into capital expenditure, use the sewer service fee that you can actually then start doing your critical items on a shorter time frame. And then you can use the rest in terms of renewable replacement funding that you can start saving towards the future. But again, that all depends on what we're able to do, and it's really the analysis by governing body with the benefit of the CFO. We give you the numbers, we told you what needs to be done. How we do it from there is the next step.
Council, any other, obviously, there's a lot here, for some of us, we've seen a little bit of the presentation, obviously, but the updated numbers is crucial. We have some more things to think about, in the next couple weeks. Any other questions for Steve? This time?
I try to keep it as short and
Thank
succinct
you.
as possible, but
Thanks for the
Carl
narrow.
greatly appreciates the lecture that was just given on our sanitary sewer system.
thank you.
All right, we'll move from our caucus work session, and we'll now move into the approval of the minutes of the November 21st, 2023 business meeting. We have a motion for the approval of the minutes of the November 21st, 2023 business meeting.
Motion by Hagan.
Motion by Councilman Hagan. Have a second? Second by Councilwoman Harron. All those in favor? Any opposed or abstained? Abstention by Councilman Addison. Next, we'll have the approval of the executive session minutes of the November 21st, 2023 business meeting. May I have a motion for the executive session minutes, please?
So moved.
Motion by Councilwoman Phillips. May I have a second?
Hagan second.
Second by Councilman Fagan. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? Abstention by Councilman Addison. Thank you. And now we will commence with a certificate of appreciation presented to Carl Valier, Chairman of the Local Board of Health. I ask Carl to join me up here at the microphone. Just want your family to join me?
Yeah, love it.
What you just endured, you definitely do. All right. Hey, you're in the center right here, because I'm sure the registrar's gonna want to get some photos, and I'm gonna read the proclamation to you, all right? So this is a certificate of recognition presented to Carl Valier, whereas lifelong Haddon Heights resident Carl Valier spent his life improving the lives of his fellow borough residents. Whereas in Carl's professional life, he was a pharmacist, first with Leopold's, then Carl's Family Pharmacy,
and then at Rite Aid, where he provided medical care and advocated for his clients over the course of his 43 years in the field. Whereas Carl has served as chair of the Haddon Heights Local Board of Health over the last several years, but has been a member of the board for 47 years. He has spent countless volunteer hours leading and advocating on behalf of the board. Whereas Carl has coordinated Rite Aid's participation at the annual Fall Festival, providing flu shots to attendees. He also facilitated the participation of students at the Philadelphia College of Pharmacy to provide blood pressure screenings, health advice at the festival. Whereas Carl's love of animals drove his efforts to offer and maintain a free rabies clinic to keep local pets safe, contribute to the public health, and also to increase pet licensing in the borough. Whereas the borough is proud to have such a knowledgeable and compassionate servant supporting our town. Now, therefore, we, the mayor and council of the borough of Haddon Heights, do hereby recognize and show appreciation to Carl Bollier for his kind spirit and dedication to his hometown of Haddon Heights, December 5th, 2023. Congratulations. I have to say, I've only been volunteering now here in town for just about 4 years. 47 years. I think my wife and my kids would kill me if I and truly, this is it. I cannot say enough about what you do for our community and how long you have done it. You have impacted a lot of lives here, and you did continue to do it through the pandemic. So to that, Carl, I cannot thank you enough. And to your family, you have somebody really special here, and you should be quite honored and proud. Borough Engineers Report, Steve, back at the mic.
Thank you. I will need.
You'll make this one quick.
We're going to rely almost entirely on our written report that we submitted. Just want to highlight St. Martin's Avenue. We're expecting paving to be completed on the week of December 11th. If everything goes well with weather, concrete is already all the concrete work is substantially done, will be done as well in advance of the holiday week as well, weekend going into the holiday as possible. And then just Devon Avenue, that you'll see the punch list stuff, punch list items are complete. We're working on closing out those projects. Other than that, we'll rely on the written report. Thank you. Thanks, Steve.
Wonderful, thanks, Steve. Moving into unfinished business, and that is that unfinished business, Kel, or is that going to be new business, actually?
No, so there's none, and then
Okay.
new business. Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
That's
I
wrong.
put it together. Took a second.
Yep.
Moving on to unfinished business, seeing none, we'll move into new business. First, we have the introduction of ordinance 2023-1538, an ordinance of the Borough of Haddon Heights, County of Camden, adopting a redevelopment plan for certain properties within the Borough of Haddon Heights that has been designated an area in need of redevelopment, St. Mary's. The public hearing and final adoption of that ordinance 2023-1538 is scheduled for Tuesday, December 19th, 2023 at 7 p.m. in the municipal building located at 625 Station Ave, Haddon Heights, New Jersey. Right here. May I have a motion to introduce ordinance 2023-1538, an ordinance of the Borough of Haddon Heights, County of Camden, adopting a redevelopment plan for certain properties within the Borough of Haddon Heights that has been designated an area in need of redevelopment, St. Mary's.
Phillips, so moved.
Motion by Councilwoman Phillips, may I have a second?
Russo, second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Russo. May I have a roll call?
Council President Morgan,
Yes.
Councilwoman Phillips,
Yes.
Councilman Addison,
Yes.
Councilwoman Russo,
Yes.
Councilman Pagan,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harron.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Again, Again, public hearing and final adoption on ordinance 2023-1538 is scheduled for Tuesday, December 19th, 2023, here at Borough Hall at 7 p.m. And there will be a resolution, I believe, later referencing the city of Everson ordinance referring to planning board, just to take note.
I just wanted to mention, our CFO had asked if we take out the bills and claims resolution and vote on that separately, as there's a resolution on the agenda that would not have been approved prior. Okay, so just a separate vote.
Fine, so just close the claims, I got it. So we'll pull that out, we'll do that as a separate vote. Okay. You want it?
I think I might make it.
All right, good, right. Otherwise, we'll just throw it at, he just did turn it in. Resolution, we're gonna move continuing new business, resolutions 2023-197, a resolution of the Borough of Haddon Heights, County of Camden, referring to proposed redevelopment plan for certain properties within the Borough of Haddon Heights to the Borough Planning Board for review pursuant to NJSA 48:12A-7E. Resolution 2023-198, resolution authorizing agreement between the Borough of Haddon Heights and the Phoenix Advisors LLC, independent registered municipal advisor of record for the purpose of providing continuing disclosure agent services for 2024. Resolution 2023-199, resolution to release performance bond and authorize refund of planning board escrow balance PB 20-7-1 HP, South Jersey. Paradise 125, Whitehorse Pike to be provided Monday, December 4th. Resolution 2023-200, resolution authorizing a refund of a permit fee to Skyline Solar LLC. Resolution 2023-201, resolution authorizing a refund of a permit fee to Hutchinson. Resolution 2023-202, a resolution authorizing the chief financial officer to make additional transfers of funds if needed to assure all 2023 budget appropriations have adequate funds, and authorizing the chief financial officer to pay all necessary bills through the end of the year. Resolution, resolution 2023-203, resolution authorizing refund of county rental fee. Resolution 2023-204, resolution awarding a contract to Delta Dental for the purpose of providing dental coverage to all full-time retired employees of the Borough of Haddon Heights for the period of 1/1/24 through 12/31/23. That's a typo.
That should be 4. Sorry.
Yep, I got that. 12/31/24. Resolution 2023-205, resolution authorizing mayor to execute an agreement between Voorhees Animal Orphanage Inc. and the Borough of Haddon Heights for the purpose of providing animal shelter services for a period of 12 months. Resolution 2023-206, resolution authorizing execution of 5-year tax agreement with 508 Station Ave. Resolution 2023-207, resolution authorizing execution of 5-year tax agreement for 14 Whitehorse Pike. Resolution 2023-208, resolution authorizing execution of 5-year tax agreement 615 Whitehorse Pike. Resolution 2023-210, resolution to close escrow accounts and authorize refund of planning board escrow balances. Resolution 2023-211, a resolution providing for a meeting not open to the public in accordance with the provisions of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-12, 1, matters regarding personal discussions related to the borough administrator and staffing, 2, contractual matter related to shared service between the Borough of Audubon through municipal court services. Discussions are expected to be half-hour in duration. Full action may be taken before going to items following executive session. May I have a motion for those resolutions, please?
Motion by Bacon?
Motion by Councilman Kagan. May I have a second?
Aaron, second.
Second by Councilwoman Harron. May I have a roll call vote?
Yes, Council President Morgan,
Yes.
Councilwoman Phillips,
Yes.
Councilman Addison,
Yes.
Councilwoman Russo,
Yes.
Councilman Begum,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harron.
Yes.
Thank you.
And now the resolution authorizing payment bills and claims for the first of December. You have something that needs to be removed from that proceeding?
No, we're going to just vote on that separately.
Okay. Resolution 2023-209. I have a motion for resolution 2023-209, resolution authorizing payment of bills and claims for the first day of December. I have a motion, please.
Motion by Bacon?
Motion by Councilman Fagan.
Russo,
I
second.
have a second, Councilwoman Russo. Hold the, or correction, roll call, please.
Council President Morgan,
Yes.
Councilwoman Phillips,
Yes.
Councilman Addison,
Yes.
Councilwoman Russo,
Yes.
Councilman Begum,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harron.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll open up for public comment. public comment at all? And seeing that everybody but Joan and Steve, the chief, are.
That wasn't
There's two in the back.
Yeah, I see that, yeah, we would not.
You're not calling them?
No.
Student council representative.
The little ones we're worried about. Not seeing any public comment, we'll close the public comment portion. And we will recess it to executive session. Steve, we're good, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Okay, Mayor.
We have a motion to come out of executive session. Motion by Councilman Russo, may I have a second?
Take a second.
Second by Councilman Fagan, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? All right, thank you. Council not seeing anything to act on, may I have a,
I had something I'd like to say, Mayor, only very briefly.
oh boy.
I would like to thank my new favorite councilwoman, Kate, for the way she put the parade on, for the fire and everything she put
You
together.
did a great job.
She did. I was here. My son was a Grinch. He wasn't happy that there were two other Grinches. They got the ride in the parade when he didn't. But I did see Kate. She did a magnificent job. Mayor, so, I get with your speech, but otherwise, it was
Matt did a
very
good job
well
too.
done.
Matt, a great teacher.
I
Oh,
know.
you hear
That's
You're the DJ?
Yeah.
I see it.
It was really nice. It was really well done.
That's all.
Okay.
Thank you. Now may I have a motion for adjournment?
Russo, so
A motion by Councilman Russo, may I have a second?
Take a second.
Second by Councilman Fagan, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? All right, thank you.
8:37.